is Straw.
He is Parker.
Together we are
the Battle Hammer.
Hammer.
Oh, we got it right. Go team us. Go me. Okay, so... Oh, well, this doesn't look like a game. What's going on?
Today we are mostly be talking about Wild West Exodus.
Now, you've seen us play games. You've seen us do an unboxing. What we thought we'd do, though, today is this is a part one of...
Some.
Two. Three, two-ish.
Part one of some.
Part one of some. Of going right back to the basics and going through the rule book, showing you the cards, telling you the basics.
Yeah.
Kind of.
So if you don't know how to play Wild West Exodus, after this video, you will still not know how to play Wild West Exodus.
You'll still be clueless. But
I think that's... Because Rich was asking, like, well, what's the start of how do you kind of...
That is true, yeah.
And I think that a lot of times, for me personally as well, like when you try and sit there with a rule book and you're like, I can't get it into my brain hole. Whereas sometimes all you need is like someone to point and go, that's that, that's that, that's that. And you go, aha, it will make sense.
Yeah.
I mean, it won't when we explain it because we're...
Idiots.
We're idiots, but still.
But yes, well, I mean, we do play the game. We do love the game.
Yes.
It's one of my top three at the moment.
Some games.
One of my top three at the moment. I like it that much. The other two are me and me.
Nice.
They're joking. So, Wild West Exodus.
I don't know why I keep thinking
I've no
Wild
idea.
Stallions, that's why.
That's it. It's a Western skirmish game. Or is it?
Steampunky kind of weirdness going on.
There's a lot of steampunky weirdness, isn't there? And why does all that steampunky stuff come from?
From all the things that happen.
You'll have to read the fluff, won't you? Because we're not telling you that.
No.
There's fluff in here.
There is.
Oh, and isn't there extra fluff in
the
this one?
Special limited edition rulebook that no one can now get hold of because we're super cool and it's not unavailable now.
And all you had to do was get a photo of the old one and they sent it to you. So, but I haven't even looked at that one yet because they're doing the same with Dystopian Wars now, aren't they? You get a photo of you with the original rulebook and you can get the new one free when it's available.
Which is super
Which
cool.
is awesome. I've already got a way around that one.
Are you just gonna like print out a picture and hold it up?
No, I have got a special cunning plan for that. Someone has offered to send me a rule book.
All right.
And I said, just take a photo of it. Take a photo of it. I'll green screen something.
Yeah.
But failing that, I will get hold of a rule book if I have to.
So
on with this.
Important. So the base thing you need to know about the game is it's a D10 game.
Yes.
A D10 looks like
That's
this.
not on, you twat.
Oh, a D10 is a 10-sided dice.
I think they know what a D10 is.
Well, you don't know.
And it hasn't got 6 sides, it's got more.
It's got 10 sides.
That had fluff on. I'm a bit worried about that.
You've got a stat. Let's say you've got an aim stat of 5. You need to roll your dice and get...
Woo!
That's a fumble. Wow.
Nah.
You need to... Typical. So you roll your dice, add your stat, take any modifiers into account, and you need to make 10.
That's it, yeah. Simple as that.
So if you've got a stat of 6, you need to roll a 4 to make 10, and then you do the thing that you want to do, whatever it is.
In theory.
In theory. I mean, there's modifiers. There is also a critical fail, which is on their dice is a 1, or they've got a little aces symbol. Or you can do a critical success, which is their WWX symbol, which means you automatically succeed or automatically fail, depending if it's a critical fail or a critical success.
One of the big things about this game is there are rerolls. And the thing to remember about the criticals and the failures is if you fumble, you cannot re-roll that one, can you?
Correct.
So
And
don't fumble.
And likewise, if you critically succeed, they can't force you to re-roll it if they've got a special skill or something like that.
Yes. Once you get your head around that, and everything else.
And speaking of re-rolls, so you can't re-roll a re-roll.
That's right.
But you can force your opponent to make a re-roll if they re-roll. It's a bit weird, but it totally makes sense as soon as you understand it. So, for example, I'm shooting straw, and for some reason I have a re-roll to hit.
Which will be an ability.
An ability, or I can spend a fortune chip, which we'll explain later.
Yes.
Now, however, maybe Straw has got an ability called Shrouded, which means he forces me to make a reroll if I succeed.
Mm-hmm. So you roll your dice.
So I roll my dice. I have failed. Well, I've got a reroll because I've got that reroll that we were talking about. now I've hit, but he's got a reroll, so he can force me to reroll. Oh, I've missed.
Ha-ha!
However, I then can't spend another fortune tip to make a reroll.
Because you've already re-rolled it.
Makes sense?
It does make sense.
It sounds a bit weird when you first... you can't re-roll a reroll apart from when you can, but basically I've got a reroll, he's got a reroll, and that's kind of how it works.
It does sound a lot harder than it actually is.
Yeah.
But once you start rolling them bones, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, and they're kind of the key. That's the key of how the game works, essentially, isn't it? I mean, it's based on that.
Pretty much. So should we go through a turn to tell them? So how does a turn work?
How does a turn
How
work?
does a turn work? Do we do the card first?
We go through the card, I think.
Okay.
And then we can explain.
So what we're going
the
to
stats
do
are.
is probably about now.
Boop. If I do this, then maybe you'll know that was the bit.
There should be a card, probably, I think we might put it in the centre because you don't need to see it. Oof, oof. A card is there. That is a standard, well, when I say standard, it's Wyatt Earp. Hey, it's a card.
Wyatt McBrothel owner.
He doesn't own a brothel.
He did. He ran
a brothel, yeah. So, that's your standard card.
Mm-hmm.
It starts with your name. Oh, look at this laser.
So you've got your name,
their position,
which is you've got bosses who are in charge of hands and faces,
supports, knees and toes. Sorry.
and then you've got their
keywords.
So he is a lawman, so that's the faction he's in. He's a human male. Marshall and Tombstone. Some of these have rule effects, but you will know if they do, and some of them are just keywords, so that for list building or for kind of general information.
Yeah, I use it for storytelling.
Yeah.
So then you get down to that's very nice. That's the symbol for the lawman. Yes, very nice. I think they can see that. Then you get down to the fortune.
Not everyone has fortune, but someone like Wyatt Earp, who is awesome, does have fortune, and it's kind of luck, kind of fate.
That's what these are.
And you can spend them to do various things.
We'll come back to that when... So they're very important, obviously. They are actually very important. Then there's the cost.
Points, if you're list building, that's what that's for.
He's not that many points anymore, is he?
I don't know.
Christ, no!
Boo.
I think they've changed it, I don't know.
Unique means you can only take one of them. Some of them don't have unique. For example, hands, who are like your general bods, tend not to have unique because they're just general bods. Whereas he, however, is unique. There's only one Wyatt Earp.
There's only one Wyatt Earp.
One Wyatt Earp. There's only one Wyatt Earp.
And he's awesome.
And then you've got your main stats, which I like.
I love the way this is in the chambers of a gun.
Yeah. In an old-fashioned timey-wimey revolver.
So you start with Q, which is your quickness.
So that's how fast you can move in inches. So he can move 5 inches when he does a move action. It also can be relevant for other things, quicker the dead checks and things like that, which we'll get into later on.
It's also nice. Is it done for jumping as well?
Yes, it is.
Jumping, I like jumping.
Mind.
Mind.
Which is kind of an idea of how intelligent / forceful of will you are. It tends to be rolled as a defensive stat.
Yes.
Like if someone's trying to make you do something, then they'll take your mind into account.
Yeah, some of the Watchers things do that, don't they? Yeah.
But also it's relevant for reserve checks. If you've got people coming on in reserves, you have to make mind checks to see if they come on at the right time. And again, as we say, he's got a mind of 6, so I would roll a dice, and I would need a 4 to make 10. That's how I would make that roll.
Simple as that. Now, A.
A for aim.
That was so cheesy.
AKA shooting people in the face.
Now, he's got an aim of 7.
Yep, so he only needs 3s to hit, effectively.
3s to hit.
But of course, that may be modified by cover or other
obstacles,
things.
Or whether you're doing one shot or multiple shots.
Yep.
Things like that. Then we have grit, which is your toughness, kind of armory, kind of goodness.
Now, an important thing to note that you won't see on this card, you won't see any wounds on this card. You won't see any hit points, you won't see anything like that.
Why?
because they don't have hit points.
But how do you know whether they're dead or not?
They're dead or they're not dead. That's it.
That's a bit brutal.
Yes. So he's got a grit of 7. So if you shoot him with a gun that doesn't have any other effects, he needs a 3 to save against it. He is dead. However, you can re-roll it. There are other ways around it. You don't just necessarily... I mean, hands and stuff, the general bods will die.
Really quickly.
But the heroes have other ways of keeping them alive. I think what Stuart, one of the creators of the game, was saying, like, I think he said his dad was an inspector in the police force. Mm-hmm. And he said no matter how many ranks he got up, he didn't like become tougher.
Yeah.
He didn't, he wasn't immune to bullets. The older and more powerful he got. And that was always kind of a pet peeve in games. And I think it does make a lot of sense.
It does. It definitely makes the game a lot more challenging and a lot more rewarding.
Yeah.
I find anyway.
Yeah, you feel
And every dice roll is pretty important.
Yeah.
Which is no good for me.
And we've got fighting, which is your fisticuffs. F for fisticuffs.
Fight. F for fisting.
Yes, giggity goo.
Hello.
So yeah, that's punching. Obs. Now L for limit. That's kind of it's one of your most important stats. So we'll get on to how you do things later on and why you don't always have the amount of limit. But it's the amount of actions you can potentially have in an activation.
In an activation, yeah.
So he's got a limit of 3, so he could, for example, move, shoot, or move, shoot, or anything like that.
In theory,
yeah.
That does change.
It does vary with the action deck, which we'll get into later on.
And on maximum, how many things you try to do.
Yeah, and spending different deck cards and stuff
like
that. But in theory, he can only do 3 things a turn, if he can do those 3 things. Generally speaking, hands have got a limit of 2. Most faces and bosses have a limit of 3. Some of the super ones have a limit of 4.
I think he should have a 4.
His legendary version does.
I know. Ooh.
Boo.
What's the legendary version? That's something else. So yeah. So then you go down to the next little section there, and that is basically all the weapons.
Oh, before we do, I just want to mention this little V 1.00. So that is the version of the card.
Ah, yes, because it's constantly changing.
Or at least it is at the moment. So that way you will know what version of the card you have. If you've got an early version, which is not part of the rules now. I think we're currently on version 1.04, and I think, well, no, I can't remember. But they are doing one more change, I think, and then that will be set for a year.
Ah, right. That has been good through the playtesting, is the fact that 1 week the cards are as you know them, and then you'll get a message saying, right, the cards have changed. So you just pop online, it's all there, and you just go, right, okay, yeah, all right, I can see what's different now.
Yeah,
simple as that. So yeah, so he has an iron asp baton.
Yeah.
That's a hand-to-hand weapon. You can tell it's hand-to-hand because it's got little claw marks. Again, it has a range of 1 inch, so you've got to be close to use it, obviously, because it's a baton.
It's a stick.
Then there's a
piercing
value, which comes into effect against people's toughness.
Yeah, their grit. So he's got a grit of 7. If he was going to hit himself over the head with his piercing -1, he would have an effective grit of 6. That's how that works.
Simple.
It subtracts from their grit.
Yeah. And then there's, I can't see that other one there.
Rate of attack.
Aha. 1.
They call it rate of attack as opposed to rate of fire because it's melee and or ranged stuff. So that means you can hit once per activation. He's only got 1s, but some may have 2 or 3, so you can do 3 hits with that thing.
Well, in theory.
In theory.
Now you can see it's got a couple of keywords underneath it: parry and stun. Now these allow you to do other little bits.
Yeah, special rules.
Special rules.
But the next weapon down, the Magnum Peacemaker, which we hate because it's really, really good. It's a pistol, which as signified by the little pistol. It's got revolver, fan, and brutal, but importantly underneath it, you can see it's got a little well sectioned symbol with shred. So that's only available if you get the critical. Which you didn't. So there are quite a few weapons that will have a critical does X. you know, it'll be lethal or it'll do a special doodad.
Doodads. No. Yep, Doc Holliday's card deck. If you get that, it has decapitate.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's anyone else that's got anything, is there?
I don't know.
Oh no, Jesse James, his bionic arms, funny enough, they do brutal.
Brutal.
If you get the critical.
And White Up's got a range of 12 with his Peacemaker, Pierce of 4, rate of attack 1. The Pierce of -4, without going into too much detail, -4 is a big fucking deal. Not just because it's a base -4, but it also ignores lots of interesting toughness type special rules. Boo, I say, boo.
I don't. I say yee-haw! So then you get, it's got a Tombstone Shield. Again, it's a hand-to-hand weapon, as signified by the claw marks. It has parry. Again, it's a range of 1, rate of attack 1.
Now, you might be looking at this and going, well, he's got this baton, right? That's got range of 1, pierce -1, rate of attack 1. Well, the shield's got the same, right? Oh, well, then why don't I just always use the baton? The important thing is, parry, which he's got on his Iron Ass baton, is it's an effect that you can only do once per turn. However, he's also got it as Tombstone Shield, so he can effectively then parry twice.
And more importantly, the Tombstone Shield does give him other bonuses.
Yeah. Lastly, he's got his Man Reaper shotgun. That says Reaper.
So it has that blasty blast symbol,
Which is over yonder.
which is one of these.
Like
Ooh,
a
I'll just get that
templatey,
with a glare. Look at that. Ooh, template.
templatey thing.
Boop, boop, boop.
So templates, if it's got you've got the teardrop template, which is think like a flamer template or a shotgun or something like that. But also you've got the circular end giggly, which is for grenades and other such explosions.
I like the way it's all in one.
Yeah, handy. And you need one template.
Exactly.
It's about 8 inches long, giggly.
Yeah, 7.5.
Giggly.
That looks about 6 foot. So that's that side of a card. So
Shall
you
I?
just please
Shall
do,
I
sir.
flip
Flip it like you mean it. So now, yeah, lovely. Now you can see he has his abilities on the back.
Yeah.
So there are common rules and special rules.
Yeah.
Obviously, common rules are common, and the special rules are special.
Yes. So importantly, he's got a 1 times S, so that's his small base. He's got a naught, or what they call a small base model is yay big.
Was it 30?
Oh, it's weird. It's like
30
about
something.
32 inches, I think it is. 32 inches, 32 mil.
Bosh.
It's either just over or just under 30 mil, and I can't remember which side of it is. But that kind of tells you what size base the model should be on. For rules purposes, it does matter.
Yes.
Unit, which is the kind of unit it is. If it's a group unit, I mean, this consists of 1 model. It is unique and can only be included onto the army. Whereas, however, you can have like 1 to 6 or something like that on a.
Attack dogs, for example, which are a hands unit, I believe.
Yeah.
It says 1 to 6
There you go. So you can have 1 to 6 of them in a unit.
symbols.
Then following that, we've got the common rules that it has. Interestingly, the common rules, the reason it doesn't explain them, whereas it does explain the special rules, is there is a special card with all of the common unit rules that are common to lots and lots of different things. So all of the faces and bosses, for example, or say all of them, most of them will have metal, quicken the dead, target priority, because they are rules that most of the individual models have.
And it's all on these.
And it's all on there, which is really handy.
It's awesome. I mean, we'll put these down so you can see these in a moment.
Yeah. And then following that, the special rules are the rules that unit has that tend to be a bit rarer, so they'll be written on the card itself.
Yeah. So, for example, he's got Tin Man, which means models in this unit gain +1 grit while in base contact with each other, or any other friendly model with this rule. So if he's standing there on his own, he doesn't get it. But if he's base to base with a couple of bods, a couple of hands, they all get it.
Because they're kind of fighting,
back to back
stuff. Styley.
What we got next? Dead or Alive. Dead or alive.
You're coming with me. Dead or alive!
So,
Wanted!
so what does that do?
Wanted! When engaged with a stunned or disordered enemy model, so stun and disorder are negative conditions. There's a little card as well for negative conditions, which are bad things that happen.
His melee weapons then count as lethal.
So interestingly, if you remember on the other side of his card, he had an asp baton, which did stun.
Bosh.
So then he gets lethal. So effectively that symbolises that he's buzzed and then he's arresting them.
Bosh. No, I prefer smashing his faces in.
Right, whatever.
Form up on me, which is another ability. So after both sides are deployed, this unit and a hands unit within 3 inches gain the Trail Finder special rule.
Trail Finder rule is on the unit common rules.
Which means...
free walk action at the start of the game, essentially.
Free little scamper forward. Then he's got Bunker.
Oh, boo! Boo!
Unless this model makes a move action during its activation, it gains +2 grit for the duration of the turn. So that takes his grit from 7
to
9 as he basically goes, you know what, I'm not moving, where's my shield? Bosh!
Boo on you, sir, and all who sail in you.
Get past that, you bugger.
Yeah.
Great ability, especially if he's in the open and you haven't been able to get to any... That saved me many a time. And then there's Wrangler.
He's a right old Wrangler who's white up.
Which is an extra ability, which means instead of being on foot, you can transplant him onto a bike, a horse or something, as long as you pay the price for it. And you get those bonuses for being mounted, which is like extra weapons or extra move, shiz like that.
Yeah. So that is a standard unit card. They will all be variants of that. What I like is there's no, what's the word?
Shiz.
Because there's no wounds or anything, you don't need to mark things off, so you don't need to sleeve them. I think they're like tarot-sized cards. They're slightly bigger than normal playing card size.
Yeah, they feel that.
They do. I think they are tarot-sized cards-ish, and I think you can get sleeves for them if you want them, but you don't need sleeves because you don't have to mark anything off.
No.
So, which is cool.
Which is lovely because, let's face it, we're always running out of bloody pens, aren't we?
Yeah, you are.
So, yeah. That's
so
basically...
we've got the attack dogs. Obviously, you have a lot less. You don't have their fortune because they're not as lucky because they're just bods.
Blah, blah, blah.
The cost is less. They don't have the unique, so you can pay for more than one. They've only got one kind of weapon. There's only one kind of weapon.
So
just to give you an idea of what a card looks like, and unsurprisingly, there are significantly less special rules on the back because they're robot dogs.
Yeah, they don't really sort of... I love them though. I love attack dogs. I really, really love the gun dogs though.
Boo on you and all who say.
Oh, look at the gun
They don't like it
dogs.
anymore.
Why do we like gun dogs? Because of the Gatling cannons.
Which they don't have anymore.
Well, they do,
they've
but
got
it's
Gatling gun.
It's a 2 instead of a 3, isn't it?
Boo.
Boo.
Still brutal.
Doesn't matter when you can have up to 6 in a unit.
Yeah.
So 6 of them, that's 12 shots.
There's a lot of shots.
And it's got brutal, which does extra damage and stuff. Very, very nice. We love them.
So that's a card.
That's a card.
A couple of things I just wanted to mention regards the people instantly dying everywhere.
Yes.
So a lot of the characters have a special rule called metal, which means that when they become wounded, they instead, for the first time they become wounded in a turn, or until they become stunned again, they can become stunned instead of wounded. So they kind of huddle down, become stunned or disordered, I think it is. So they don't die immediately, they just become disordered. So it kind of gives them an extra wound.
An extra, yeah, not a lot.
It's not an extra wound as such, but it's a way of negating that
Death.
instant death. And a lot of them do also have a rule called Quicken the Dead, which has a quickness roll, because they're super lucky and they might go, what's that noise? And dodge out of the way. Not necessarily like Matrix style-y, but they might just hunker down immediately without not getting shot.
Well, in theory.
In theory.
In theory.
So there are ways of keeping your heroes alive, even though they've only got one wound.
Special abilities. That's
Yeah.
all in your rule books or on your cards. So we can come back to those.
Yeah.
So,
handily, there is a unit. I think with the starter sets, you get a unit common rules. Which
shall we just pop one of those on?
Yeah.
Let me just have a little fiddle with my jizzle. Look at this, I'm going to move things for you. Oh,
No,
aren't we professional?
No.
Nope. So,
that's just the card. There are a few ones like metal, which I explained earlier on.
agile. So, for example, so we've got agile, deadeye, durable, elite, largesse. Now that's an important one, that is, isn't it?
Yeah, it means you can. So Wyatt Earp had a fortune of 4, so that fortune allows him to do things like make re-rolls or spend them on action points or things like that. Whereas because he's a boss, he has the skill largesse, so other people can use his fortune because he's pointing at them and telling them what to do.
You do this, you do that, you make me tea.
Although otherwise inspired by his gloriousness.
Metal, prodigious, skirmishers, surefoot, target priority.
Yep. That's another way of keeping faces and bosses alive. If you're within 12 inches, unless you're within 12 inches of someone, you can't shoot at them unless they're the closest target. So you can kind of stand it because yes, in theory, you're going to shoot the closest person.
And what was on the back? More common rules. So these are just the common ones.
Yeah.
Tasked. That's for like your robot dogs and stuff like that. They all have to target the same thing.
Yeah.
Teamwork. The quick and the dead. That's what you were saying earlier, wasn't it? If you fail a grit check, you can, instead of being hit and wounded, you make an unmodified quick check. If they pass it, the hit's ignored. Tough, trail finder, unarmed, unstoppable, like the mighty battle hammer. Oh, that stopped him. So that's your common rules. Obviously there are a load more, but those are the ones that are common.
Yeah. So yeah, and they tend to be scattered around the army, generally speaking.
So, should we do this little one as well while we're on this view? So we were talking about conditions.
Aye.
So
you've got negative conditions and positive conditions. Unsurprisingly, the negative ones are bad and the positive ones are good.
So on this we have disordered.
Yep. Which is bad.
It's bad. It is.
Your limit, you gain tasks, so you can only shoot the same thing, and your limit is reduced by 1, so you can do less because you're a bit nervy and like not sure what's going on.
Hazard.
You make a grit check at the end of your activation, and if you fail it, you take a wound.
Oh, that means you die.
Yeah, that's like being. Interestingly, they've called it hazard, so it means things. For example, like being on fire. You might be covered in acid. You might have electrical current surging through your body.
Yeah,
it kind of covers all of those things. Saves them having rules for all
this,
of these
this,
which are basically the same.
And even though I do like having condition tokens on the table, I'm glad they've just done that into one.
Yeah.
Because hold on, I've got blade. Yeah, I've got fire. Oh Christ, I've got that. Oh. And you suddenly pile up a whole load of them. And then there's stunned.
Stunned. So whereas we said limit was down by 1 because of disordered, stunned is all of the other stats. So you are less
good,
less effective.
You're less good.
And a lot of the times, you might take, for example, as we said earlier on about metal, you might take the disordered condition rather than take a wound. But then once you're disordered, you can't then take the disordered condition. So then you die.
So then, flipping over, flip the thing. We have positive conditions. So we have on lookout.
That means you're hiding behind a barrel or something. You're ready to shoot at someone. If someone shoots at you, you can make a.
It's the charge, wasn't it? No, an enemy targeting them.
If an enemy targets you,
Ooh.
You can make like an attack reaction back.
Think old style Overwatch.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Hunkered.
You get your -1 fight, but you get +1 grit because you're hiding behind a barrel or a bit of cover in some way.
And you don't even need to have a bit of cover on the shoulder. You can just literally hunker down.
You can just
basically you're just dropping prone and
.
Digging yourself a grave while you're there. Be doing with it. And then there's a yellow check.
Yep.
I don't think we've ever done this yet, have we?
No, because we probably because we keep forgetting.
Well, we won't forget now because it's on the card.
Exactly.
So what does that do?
If you go down to one, tends to be, say I've got a unit of Abomination Widowers here. That's a hands unit who are just kind of your general bods.
Yeah, you can just sort of stick them there. They can see that.
So they're your general bods. If these 4 get killed, and then you've got one guy on his own, he has to make a yellow check because he might run away. I'm like, fucking hell, I'm on my own. No, where my boy's gone.
But just me asking you, do they have to because they're like dead robots?
They do. It does say this includes unit with a construct and automata units. As even unfeeling amalgams of man and machine will lose their effectiveness.
Yeah.
They're isolated in the chaos of battle.
It's almost like they read my mind with that one, isn't it?
It may, I mean, for some things, it may say ignores yellow checks. I think there are.
There are some somewhere, aren't there?
Allow you to ignore those.
Yeah. So, what else does that leave us? Ooh. There's how to put a posse together.
We'll
just
want
to stick one of these on here just so they can get a rough idea. So, when you do get round to picking your armies, your posses, you can see this little card here gives you options for your mounts. So you can have, for example, an interceptor.
Everyone likes mounting.
An iron horse, a horse, or a black hoof. What the hell's a black hoof?
It's like a robot horse.
Oh.
Because an iron horse is the hover bike.
It's the hover bike.
And then a black hoof
and
is
the interceptor is the Batman-looking one.
Yeah.
And then on the back of this, you have all your standard weapony things, special issue stuff, which
so
again,
you can upgrade like your special weapons that you can upgrade units with.
Yeah, and again, it's got the type of weapon, the range, the piercing value, the rate of attack, special qualities, critical bonuses, and the upgraded cost.
Mm-hmm. Simples,
isn't it? So
I think that's enough for the first video, and then we can talk about how you do an action and how action and adventure cards work, how kind of a turn generally kind of pans out.
Yeah. If
there's anything specific you want to know about the things we've just said, let us know in the comments down below, and we will let you know. But there will be more videos like this
coming soon.
Very soon.
Because we're going to film the next one while we're here.
Exactly.
So hopefully that's given you a start to understand Wexodus. I mean, we've told you what the cards are.
Yes, we have.
What's on them, how they work. So part 2 will be basically more of the same, but not the cards. It'll be how the game with other. Yes.
So we've got there's an action and adventure decks, and these are very key to how the game plays and what makes it very different from another miniatures game. We will explain how they work.
So we will see you hopefully
for
the second part.
Yes, but before you go, until next time.
Don't forget
to like and subscribe if you liked it.
Want to subscribe? Don't like it.
Don't want to subscribe. You don't have to like and subscribe. We would like it if you liked and subscribed. And until next time, stay hammered.